Hello everyone, thank you for clicking on this reading. So today we're going to be doing, here's my cat shaking his butt at me. Today we're going to be doing your ego versus your soul. Basically we're going to get where your ego is currently at and where your soul is at, what your soul is trying to tell you. Yeah, you'll know if it resonates, I just want to say that. If you resonate with where your ego is at and you hear the soul part and you're like, I'm not sure if that's quite right, trust that. But if you resonate with both your ego and your soul and you're like, okay, I feel like this message is for me, even if you're not consciously aware of what your soul is trying to tell you, something will just kind of click. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. Hello everyone, thank you again for clicking on this reading. So we have 3 piles to choose from. How this video is going to be formatted is I'm going to use oracle cards to have a side for your ego and a side for your higher self, and we're gonna, assess that, and then I'm going to use the tarot to get a read on how you can balance and combine your ego and your soul to work in, what's the word? I guess, yeah, just to work in balance together. So yeah, let's get right into it. For each pile, before this reading, I was gonna use crystals, but I found like 2 of my necklace things that just inevitably, I don't know what happened to the string, and then I was like, I definitely have another one, and I did. So I found 3 used to be necklace charms. So yeah, I'm going to show them each up close. For pile 1, I'm using the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot. We have this charm. Pretty sure this is obsidian. Yeah. For pile 2, I'm using the Ethereal Visions deck with this charm. I think that's like some sort of flower. And for pile 3, I'm using the Phantom Wise tarot with this red sun charm. I don't think this is any particular crystal, but it looks like carnelian to me. So yeah, so take as long as you need to pick. You can be drawn to any and all piles, of course, hoping they look aesthetically pleasing and even. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna get started with pile 1. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot and this necklace charm, welcome to your reading. So this side is going to be your ego side, and this side is going to be your soul side. So I don't know if I kind of explained, I kind of sort of explained in the intro, not as much, but essentially your ego side is basically just going to represent you now and kind of what you're more presently aware of, the energy you're kind of presently in, and your soul is more so going to be your subconscious or your intuition, your feeling, what your soul feels on a deeper level. And yeah, so to start with your ego side, we have house number 4, hummingbird, cup of tea, patience, reassessment, and honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. Okay, and then for your soul, we have garden, black egg, salt, protection, banishing negativity, and perseverance. I know what I can do. I know that, yeah, I can do whatever I set my mind to. Okay. Okay, I wanted to kind of move the cards around. The first thing I'm noticing is, I guess all the purple. I guess it's mostly just in these cards, but that was something that stuck out to me whenever I was pulling these cards. Lots of spiritual crown chakra energy. I honestly feel like you're very in touch with your soul, and yeah, there's even like purple there. But yeah, regardless, I can see that you and your soul are definitely like this. Y'all, like, obviously it's not really, your soul isn't really separate from you. It's just, you know, it's a part of you that we sometimes neglect and refuse to see, but I feel like you don't. I feel like if you have in the past, you're definitely more aligned with your soul right now, and working in conjunction with it, especially because the black egg card talks about authenticity, using your voice, honesty, and you literally got the honesty card for your ego. Yeah, and there's lots of mirroring. There's lots of, you know, we have patience here, we have perseverance here. I think that you're very balanced already, to be honest. At the moment, I would say, starting with your ego, I would say you're at a point in your life where you're kind of in a flow state right now. You've been very patient in regards to just the way things are moving in your life. You've been trusting the process. That's what I'm hearing. And I just get a very like cozy, comfortable vibe from you. I feel like you have really been leaning into a more feminine, receiving energy, just a more lax energy. And I think that this is actually in conjunction with what your soul has been telling you and calling you towards. I feel like you've been listening to your feelings and to your inner guidance, because yeah, your soul wants you to be authentic and honest, and I think that that's what you're doing. You've been in an authentic energy. You've been, whether or not you're fully expressing yourself, there's an authenticity there. There's like a feeling of like you're not, at least in terms of like your own energy and being with yourself, you're not shying away from the things that maybe you used to previously shy away from, things that were holding you back. You're aware of like blocks, you're aware of things that need to be healed, and you've started healing those. You are being honest first and foremost with yourself. That's what this feels like. With your soul's energy, yeah, this just feels very balanced. This feels very much like you're in conjunction with your soul. The only like difference, I would say that your soul kind of feels like it's calling you to, when you're ready, because I feel like you're already on this path, is to step up even more and share your voice even more. Because I feel like you've already been very honest with yourself. You've been in a very light, fun, creative energy, but you're not forcing yourself to get to work with things. You're just kind of vibing. You're just kind of naturally allowing your energy to come through, allowing inspiration to take place. It seems like, yeah, you have a very healthy, balanced ego right now. You know, you're being patient. You are assessing what matters to you and really, really going with the flow is what it feels like. And you have a sense of stability in that. I feel like maybe this is just because of what I think, but if you've been in an energy before where you were trying to take an approach of like just like really like working really hard and trying to force things to happen, and you realize like, okay, things weren't really, they didn't feel stable that way. It was actually pushing away things. You know, the more you chase something, the more it kind of goes away from you. I feel like the more you've, I don't know for sure if that's what you've done before, but I know that like from my perspective, like I know I've done that before, and it just whatever. If you've done that before, I feel like you're in this energy now of, yeah, embracing the flow, embracing new flow, and you trusting the process and trusting in your own feelings and trusting where they're leading you and guiding you to has brought you a feeling of stability, and you're in a pretty comfortable place. And I think that it's leading you down a very successful path right now. I think that you're going like, yeah, if you stay in this energy, it definitely, you're doing the right thing is what I'm gonna say. You've been taking all the right steps, doing the right things, you know, listening to your intuition, which is always a good thing. And yeah, your soul is just in an energy of yeah, being in the same, like having the same level of perseverance with you. I feel like if anything, you're getting your patience from listening to your soul and from trusting your soul, because I know especially life doesn't always move how we want it. We can't control many things, and whenever we try to, it can feel very frustrating. And when we're not listening to the guidance of our soul, because the guidance, our own intuition and our own soul's guidance can seem far away from us and can also seem hard to trust when it's not something that we can physically see. But that can create a lot of resistance within us and, you know, just make it hard to, yeah, just make life in general harder when we're not trusting our own soul. And I feel like because your soul has this perseverance and it's been guiding you, your own intuition has been guiding you, and you've been listening to it, it has made life a lot easier for you and a lot more stable. Even if it's not, even if someone from the outside would look and not consider your life stable, which like that's their own judgment, and whether or not that's even true, like it wouldn't even matter to you because you feel stable, and that's what matters. You have a feeling of comfort. And yeah, I really do think that this is showing your soul is your guiding light right now, and it's the reason why things are going to be falling into place for you. I do see your soul is calling in more community. And so again, it's going to be within your own time, but the more that you get your voice out there, because you're already in a very comfortable state, but the more that you get your voice out there, which may feel a little bit uncomfortable, that may be the one part of you that's kind of just like nervous and unsure, is about really getting your voice out there, because I think that you trust yourself. You know, you trust yourself, but it can be hard to put yourself out there and put your energy out there and, you know, kind of mingle with, intermingle with other people's energies for the fear that it's gonna like push your own energy back and kind of negatively affect you, or, you know, fear of criticism, which is very valid. And I think that your soul is just calling for, you know, a want to use your voice more, because I think that you have a lot to say and a lot of important things to say, and your voice really matters. And with this card here, I'm getting that, yeah, there's lots of protection. I feel like, I mean, in one case, your soul is also calling for energetic protection, because you're not wrong to feel nervous about being more vocal about who you are and your beliefs and your opinions, because it can be, it's a tough world out there, it really is. And yeah, protect your energy. Your soul is calling for protection, and I feel like your soul is also protecting you. So if you have felt you've been in this good energy, but you haven't felt like the thought of putting yourself out there more makes you feel nervous. I feel like in a way your soul is also protecting you for when you're fully ready for that, because it's, you know, it's going to be baby steps. But yeah, that's ultimately, I think you're very aligned with your soul right now, and I want to get into the tarot. I'm going to drink some water real quick. Okay. Deciding whether or not I should leave these here. I think that I'll put them up. Okay. Yes, beautiful energy to start out with. Oh God, I'm not used to wearing nails, so. I was very, very, excited to do this reading because, I don't know, this just feels like an energy, or like a energy check that people need at the moment. Okay, so how can you balance, which you already seem pretty balanced, but how can you use your, your ego's energy and your soul's energy to your advantage? How can you balance the two and create the best outcome and potential for yourself? Whoa, okay. The Three of Pentacles. So yeah, more about connecting with others, because I feel like, which this is a very relatable feeling, but if you felt like, it's been, I feel like you felt like it's hard to find people to connect with, or if you have, like, I feel like you've become very comfortable in your own skin, very comfortable in your own energy, and that's like solid, like that's so good. Like you feel, if it was hard to find people to relate to before, you're gonna be able to, like, the more open you are, because it can be hard to find the people that you truly belong with in like your soul family whenever you feel pressured to, kind of conform whenever you're around others. I mean, how can you find the people who truly match your energy if you're just not in your energy in public or around others? So I feel like that is something that is coming. You're finding soul family, and I do think it requires some sort of like, you're already being authentic, just like more public, I guess. Authentication, that's not the right word, but being authentic. I feel like it's more than just being yourself in public. I feel like it's more of a reaching out to, I don't know, finding community. I feel like you know what I mean, because I feel like you felt it. If you have felt drawn to a certain community or a certain, like, I don't know, club, or just even like online social community, there's something along those lines that you have felt drawn to, and that's definitely for a reason, and your soul is calling you to follow that. Follow the lessons. Oh, okay, we got two. The lessons that you've been learning with your authenticity is for a reason. We have strength, and we have the Ace of Wands, Ace of Candles. And the Seven of Pentacles, I'm pretty sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. Seven of Pentacles. And then on the back of the deck, we have Justice. It's in reverse, but I don't take reversals. Just gonna put that right there. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Yes. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, I keep getting, you're so balanced internally. There really is just a call for courage, strength, and putting yourself out there in some way. The world needs to hear what you have to say. It is important. So if you felt that, like, it's not, you're not being grandiose in your thinking. With the Seven of Pentacles, sorry, there's so much noise outside. I literally live so far away from the airport, but anyways, with the Seven of Pentacles, yeah, I feel like there's something that you've been patient with. I feel like you just have a very patient energy at the moment. But I also feel like there's something maybe that you've been putting off. And in order to really balance even more so your ego and your soul and be on the best, highest potential path for yourself right now, nourish your ideas that are coming through. And you don't have to act on them immediately, but take time to really look at your ideas that are coming through and like cherish them, nourish them, water them, give them the time of day that they're calling for. Really, journal about them, or if you have one idea that's kind of like an outline, make a vision board for it, kind of really put energy into what, and I feel like I feel like that's something that you've already been doing, specifically vision board, but yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to people that you feel drawn to and that you feel like getting guidance from, maybe. Because, yeah, I feel like usually the Temperance card makes me think of balance, but there's the Emperor and Death, and why are there so many? The Emperor, Death, the Hermit. I was thinking of the Hermit earlier. I feel like you thrive, and you've been thriving in this, in more of a Hermit energy. I don't feel like you've been isolated from people. I just feel like you've been really nourishing your energy, really putting a lot of energy into self-care, and I don't see guidance here to have to like take immediate action towards anything. I just feel like your soul is calling you towards things naturally that are gonna feel good for you, and I think you should follow that. But yeah, even though Temperance makes me think of balance, this is Justice, but Justice also makes me think of balance. Also, you could be a Libra. And yeah, I feel like things haven't always been this way in your life. They haven't always felt like they were going up. I feel like things have been feeling like they're going up for you lately, and you've just been feeling really good, and you put a lot of work into yourself to get where you are. And I really do think that justice is being served for you. The karmic balance is coming around in your favor, and yeah, things are just, I don't know, you've energetically just and physically just done the work on yourself and put in actual efforts to change your mindset and done shadow work. Definitely, I feel like you've done shadow work. I feel like you have not hidden from the parts of yourself that were dark. And I just, yeah, all that I'm getting is, I don't know where I put the book for this, because I wanted to read the Seven of Pentacles that's specifically in this book, but I don't have that specific book, so I'm just gonna read it from this other one. Okay, hold on. I haven't done pile 3, but this is the thing for pile 3. So if you feel drawn to pile 3, that could also be a sign. But take a moment to step back and observe what is or isn't working on your journey/path. Don't be afraid to slow down and celebrate your accomplishments. Now is the time to catch your breath and make room for more growth. Be open to any alterations or shifts needed to continue positive change and development on your way. The work is far from over, but take a moment to appreciate how far you've come. Reflection, assessment, investment, and growth. So, yeah, I also want to look at justice just because I feel like it's important. Yeah, equality, balance, decisions, fairness. Justice will make themselves known when they want us to see things from all angles. Justice takes things slowly and deliberately to make a fair decision. All of our actions have consequences, therefore, justice knows that they must be fair and understand that there will always be someone who feels hurt if you don't see things their way. When justice appears in a reading, you must stand firm in your decisions and be fully aware that you just can't please everyone. You must take a stand and do what is right for you. So that's another thing, which I feel like, again, I feel like you already know this. I feel like you've done a lot of work. This is just like confirmation for you. Not everyone, you're not for everyone, and not everyone is going to see your vision and agree with you. I feel like you know that, but I feel like it's still very difficult sometimes to act on that, because yeah, that's where I feel like you're at. I feel like you're in a place where you have probably done lots of work on your solar plexus and your heart, maybe not intentionally if you're not into like chakra healing, but it's definitely like those chakras have been affected, and you're very trusting with this, yeah, all this purple energy. You're very trusting of the universe, and you're just on the right path. I just feel like I need to tell you that you're doing the right thing. You're in a very good energy. You're on the right path. The only advice I have to give you is that idea that you have, those people you want to reach out to, that community you want to join, do it. Like, obviously, you don't have to do it immediately. You don't have to do it tomorrow. But you're ready. The opportunities, I feel like the opportunities, they're not going to go anywhere. So don't feel rushed. I'm getting, especially with this, don't feel rushed. Because you're in an energy where you naturally are attracting the right time. Divine timing is working for you because you're in such a receptive energy that is just trusting the universe constantly. And when you're constantly trusting that things are going to work out for you, there is no missing an opportunity. And even if you miss one, there will be another one. Like, there is no right time until you decide it's the right time. So I just feel like you're in a good energy, and the things that you feel called towards, you just need to go to them and start. Because I feel like there is stuff that, like, you may be in a place again where like physically there's not a lot happening, but your energy is different. It's very different. And so yeah, I think that things in your life, like on a physical level, can change and will change because of the energy that you've cultivated. You've really taken the advice of like going inwards first and then expanding outwards, because it all starts from within. And I just feel like anything that you want right now, you can take it, and any moves you feel like making, you can make them. And that's really all your soul is calling you to do. And I feel like yeah, it's honestly just a time for more action, but again, not pressured action, just inspired action. And that's coming from your soul, and your soul feels it and you feel it. And to merge those two, it's just, you got to take it, you got to take the action. Yeah. That's really all I have to say. This is really, really nice. I wanted to get some guidance from the Moonology Manifestation Oracle deck. So I'm gonna get 2 cards from here, and then that will be your reading. So let me see, my phone is still recording. Okay, good. Oh God. Okay. Okay, Spirit, what guidance do you have for pile 1? Okay. Oh, bitch. What the fuck? I'm sorry. Take inspired action. I just love when this happens. I love when something that I literally said, it's like, oh, feels good. Okay. Anyways. And go for it. What? Okay. I'm sorry. This just, it feels good to get confirmation that what I was saying is true. Yeah, this couldn't be more like obvious in your face, like this is the message. That was, I am gonna read from the book, but yeah, that was literally what more signs. If there's something that you want to go for, you know what it is, you're thinking of it right now, do it. It's time, it's gonna work out, and everything's gonna be okay. So let's see, full moon in Virgo. This card is bursting with goddess energy and reminds you that while it's wonderful to have lofty dreams, you also need to ground those desires by taking inspired action. Commune with the heavens, but take practical steps down here on earth. Draw down the energies of the divine by doing something as seemingly trivial as making a bullet point list of what you need to do to manifest your dreams into reality. That also made me think of the vision board thing. Anyways, also know that you're 100% worthy of your dreams. Ditch self-effacement, I think that's how you say that, self-effacement, criticism, and second-guessing yourself and others. Manifesting balance. Find a balance between dreaming big and being practical. It's important to believe in our dreams, but we also need to take practical steps towards them. The energy of this card will help you to connect with that reality. And then there's like these little manifestation rituals, affirmations, and when to manifest your magic. I know we just had a full moon, I'm pretty sure like yesterday. If you're watching this when it comes out, I don't know what sign it was in, but we also have a new moon card. So new moon in Aries. This card heralds good news, opportunities abound, and the outlook is positive. Go through the doors that are opening up to you. There's every reason to believe you'll create what you want, even if you feel a long way from your goal. Keep going and be courageous. Chase your dreams with childlike enthusiasm and expect your desires to be satisfied. Don't sit around making plans. Do take action. This is crucial. Chase your goal, believe in divine timing. In love, make the first move if you dare. Financially, be proactive. This card is an especially good sign if you need more courage or determination, or if you're chasing someone or something. I also feel like with this card talking, it said not planning, and this card talked a little bit about planning, or at least about like, I feel like a bulletin board is kind of like planning. I feel like, yeah, there's a balance of just taking inspired action. Just, yeah, it's not, it doesn't feel forced. It feels real, and it feels like genuine and just, yeah, like inspired. So I'm gonna hold that up. I hope I wasn't covering anything with my thumb on the other one. I'm actually gonna go back to that one just in case, because I can't remember if I was covering anything. But yeah, I hope you liked this reading. I really enjoyed reading for you. If you liked, please do consider leaving a comment or liking or even subscribing if you want to see more. If you do, please consider commenting any ideas that you have or anything that you want to see on this channel. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, or afternoon. So bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose the Ethereal Visions Tarot and this flower charm thing, then welcome to your reading. So I'm pretty sure I explained this in like the very beginning, but I just kind of want to, where am I going to put this? Say that your ego is going to represent your main energy that you're consciously aware of right now, and your soul. You could be consciously aware of this energy depending on how connected to your soul you currently are. But yeah, this is basically going to be your soul's energy, your feelings, intuition, kind of the more subconscious aspects, or I would argue kind of the true you, and this is kind of the you that is, you know, the ego. So let's get into it. For your ego's energy, we have mountain, we have octopus. Also, this is number 21, I believe. Yeah, number 21. Hedge, potential, boundaries, indecision, and abundance. I am a limitless being, and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. For your soul, we have letter number 27, which 27 could be a significant number because I was thinking of 27 when I saw this. So yeah. Spider and summer, expansion, growth. And you got 2 soul lesson cards. The first one is peace. I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. And service. I feel good when I can help others. So, okay. So I'm actually, not right now, but I'm gonna read all of these ones from the book because I feel like they're very relevant in helping you on your journey. I feel like your ego at the moment may be a little bit more disconnected from your soul. I feel like you can hear your soul, but it's kind of like if you were trying to hear someone in a crowded room and they're kind of trying to yell at you, and you can kind of hear someone calling your name, but it's so loud in there that you're not quite sure if it's your name that they're calling. So you're like, I think I hear something, but I'm not quite sure. I feel like which, sorry for the sighing, it's just, I want to make sure that my voice doesn't sound too tired. But anyways, your ego right now, I feel like, has been focused, honestly, and this is not to like judge, or I feel like you may just be in a lack mentality. And I hate saying that because if you look at the way things are, it's kind of hard not to be, and especially with the way that we grow up, a lot of us, depending on your situation, a lot of people are taught to have a lack mentality, and I feel like you've set up walls or boundaries, but it's almost like they block you from realizing your full potential and create more obstacles rather than openness. But I also feel like there's a part of you that, rather than having boundaries, clings to other people for validation, but also has very strong boundaries about keeping your energy close, but to the point, like close to your chest, but to the point where you're not letting things like abundance in, or things like yeah, in trying to keep your energy so close to you, so close to your chest, to keep your cards so hidden, and to keep your plans so under wraps, or just like, yeah, I feel like you're also at the same time, while you're doing that, pushing away opportunities and pushing away energy that could be good for you, and pushing away the opportunity to feel good. Your soul really wants to talk to you and really is trying to send you a message. And I think that you are kind of hearing it. Your soul wants you to realize your full potential. And specifically, the Spider card, I'm actually going to read just the end of it because it says, hold on, I just saw it. Yes, it says, be process-oriented rather than results-oriented, and soon your work becomes like the weaving of a magical, priceless tapestry. Abundance follows. So abundance will naturally follow whenever you start caring more about the process rather than the results that you're getting from something. And I also feel like with this service card, your soul wants to be more open and authentic and use your natural gifts to help others. And helping others doesn't even have to be in like the way that you would think. Like, you don't have to be like a nurse or a doctor or a firefighter to help others. There are many ways to help others in not just the traditional ways. And I feel like, maybe there's a part of your ego that is afraid of judgment, or, afraid of judgment, and afraid to do the wrong thing, and lots of, there's lots of worry, there's lots of anxiety coming from your ego, coming from, fear of doing the wrong thing, fear of, rather than just going for anything, you end up just staying stuck in a place where you're not doing anything out of fear of making the wrong choice. And also clinging to the idea of abundance, clinging to the idea of abundance rather than, which this reminds me, because I felt like saying this in pile 1, where there was kind of an energy of, or not an energy, but I had to use the book for this tarot deck, and that made me say like, oh, like if you were drawn to this pile, like maybe you should watch that one. And if you were drawn to pile 1, I feel like that would be a very, encouraging pile for you to watch, because that kind of feels like the energy that your ego would be in and your soul would be in, if you balance this energy more, which we're going to get into the tarot in a second to kind of see how you can balance it. Because I feel like, yeah, there's just so much potential, and I just feel like you're putting walls up, not just with people, but just around, like, there's blocks. If you've been trying to call in more abundance into your life and it's not happening and you feel frustrated, it's because there are mental blocks, emotional blocks, and it has to do with your beliefs surrounding how abundance works and surrounding, like, you're putting energetic boundaries and walls up that's blocking abundance from actually coming into your life because of, one, a fear of being seen, but also, yeah, fear of doing the wrong thing and then stressing yourself out and then doing nothing. And again, life doesn't have to be all about doing. There's a lot of nourishing that and like feminine energy and receiving energy that is very important. And we are often taught that you have to do in order to receive any sort of abundance. And I'm gonna read these in a minute here, because your soul is calling for a change of mindset, to be honest. And I know it's not like super easy to just snap your fingers and change your mindset overnight, but that's what your soul is calling for. Your soul is trying to speak to you, and your soul is in this energy of wanting to take down the walls and boundaries that you've put up and, expand. Because these boundaries, yeah, they feel less like healthy boundaries and more like walls blocking you from abundance. Because your soul feels called to a more gentle approach, a more like nature, like it's more aligned with nature. And that could be literally spending more time in nature, or just just more gentle, more aligned with the seasons. And that doesn't have to be like literally. There is working with the seasons, you can literally do that in like witchcraft and stuff. But this also just feels more like taking an approach, working with the earth. Yeah, I keep just hearing like nature-y, working with Mother Earth, working with the natural cycles. And we also have internal cycles, we have our own we go through winter periods, summer periods, autumn, spring periods, and working, with the natural cycles of your life, rather than forcing yourself to be in one consistent energy all the time, working with what you're currently feeling and what you're currently going through. And I feel like connecting to your soul is gonna really help with this, because you'll be more connected to what season you're in and what you can actually do and produce. Because when you get more in tune and get more aligned with what you're feeling, what your soul is feeling, we don't always have to produce the same exact work all the time or be in the same energy all the time. It's about working with your own internal seasons and compass. And when we try to resist the current, it just doesn't work, and so that's what I feel like your soul is calling, to take a more feelings-based approach, seasons-based approach. Whatever season of life that you are in, whatever energy that you're in, you're being called to work with your own energy, not against it, to not push yourself past what you can actually handle in the moment, because there's going to be times where you feel energetic and times where you don't, and to just actually work with the times that, you know, you're feeling, especially like when you're in tune with your soul, you'll feel like, okay, like now is a time for me to be more introspective. Now is a time for me to take inspired action. You'll just feel it. And I feel like you've been trying to push against going and being introspective when maybe you've needed it. And rather than putting yourself first and your own needs first, looking towards external validation and clinging on to other people's validation to give you that natural hit of feeling like you're doing the right thing. But in reality, it gives your brain a sort of dopamine hit of like, okay, I'm doing the right thing because I'm being externally validated for it. But you may be burning yourself out and not being able to attract what you want into your life as quickly, or just, you know, at all, because you're not aligned with your soul's energy. And like, yeah, and in those moments you're not aligned with and I'm not saying you're completely out of touch with your soul, but in those moments you may not feel aligned with your soul, which is very important because it's just gonna make life flow more easy. I guess flow would be another word to use instead of your soul. You know, you wouldn't be aligned with flow, and when you resist the flow, it just, everything kind of just feels worse than it needs to. So yeah, I'm gonna read these cards and then I'm gonna get into the tarot. Let me make sure it's still recording. Okay, good. Starting with, oh, don't know if you heard that. Starting with the Abundance card. Always remember that you are God and God is all about creation. God says yes, the ego says no. In order to have abundance in all areas of your life, you must create the space of receiving and know that you are deserving of anything your heart desires. The more you can release limited thinking and worry, the more open you are to receiving the infinite flow of the universe. Sorry, I need to drink water in a second. Anyways, allow yourself to have fun when manifesting what you want in life and enjoy the process. By embracing a positive mindset, you are opening the door to unexpected abundance. It is natural to have abundance in your life, and you must realize that any thoughts of limitedness may have come from either a past life or a life condition you have chosen to overcome. They could also originate from programming that you received from the environment you grew up in and the value systems you were taught when you were young. Now is the time to begin to live with the realization that you are worthy of having abundance in every aspect of your life. When you are in the vibration of receiving, you can manifest what you desire in this physical reality. So, I'm going to hold that up. And now I want to read the peace one. This is a gentle reminder that balance in the mind is imperative in order for your soul to live its true nature. At this time in your life, you are to learn the value of peace and quiet and the joy of being still. One can never be truly connected to the source when the mind is engaged with unneeded chatter. I feel like that's exactly what this is. Anyways, look around your life and be conscious of what elements are taking you away from the peaceful nature of your soul. Who or what is interrupting this solitude? It is time to reconcile past hurts and perceived injustices. Your peace may also be fostered by changing your outside view. Create harmony around you physically with order and calm. Trust the voice of your higher self to create an environment in which you can truly be in tune with your soul. So yeah, trust the inner voice. That voice that you hear calling you and you're like not sure if they're actually calling you, trust it, because usually, like, if you are in a crowd for like, just like, if you were to be in a crowd and someone was calling your name, you know, like, intuitively you're like, they're calling me. But then there's doubt that's like, no, that's not who I thought it was. They're not calling to me. Your soul is calling to you. And yeah, and I feel like a big part of this, your soul wants to have self-reflection time so that you can really pinpoint what it is that's keeping you from a peaceful existence, because there is so much outside noise, and the more that you look outside yourself for that validation and that feeling of receiving, the less content you're gonna feel, the less peace you're gonna feel. So anyways, I'm gonna read this one. One of the most evolved gifts that a soul, actually, sorry, did I hold that one up? I don't think I did. Okay, anyways, one of the most evolved gifts that a soul possesses is giving of itself. There is a reason why it feels good to give. It is because your soul resonates with that vibration. Your soul should be aware that it might currently be in a situation in which it needs to be fulfilled on higher levels, and this can only happen through the attribute of humbly serving and supporting others. Put yourself in a position in which you can benefit another soul in any way possible and demonstrate unconditional love towards others. This might mean bringing yourself into your heart space and letting everything you involve yourself in come from an attitude of giving freely. You have to learn to direct your green heart light energy through all your thoughts, actions, and deeds. Look around and see where and how you can serve another. Perhaps one way would be asking a friend if you can help clean up his or her office or run errands. Maybe volunteer to watch your neighbor's kids so the parents can have a night out. Make a meal for someone who might be sick, volunteer in a hospital or hospice, perform an activity that enriches someone else's life. So, yeah, I'm gonna get into the tarot, but I do feel like your soul is craving connection with others, like genuine connection, craving looking at the world, which I know, like, you shouldn't force yourself to see people that are doing bad, like objectively bad things in the world as good. None of us are immune from, it's okay to be like, I don't like that person, or that person is genuinely like, some people are evil, like some people are fucking evil in this world, okay? This is not what that's talking about. I just want to say that. But your soul is calling you to look at the world with more light in the places that you can, you know, in the places that you can. Look at people with more light, and because your soul wants to feel connected and wants to give, and the more you give, the more you get. And again, it's not about getting results from your giving, it's just about the feeling it gives you to connect with the world around you. So we're gonna get into the tarot now on how you can bring your soul and your ego together in like, oh, hold on, in like a balanced way. Hold on, I'm not used to shuffling with nails. I may have to just do this sideways. But yes, how can you effectively balance your ego and your soul and bring them together in a way to create a more harmonious, balanced energy for yourself, and, you know, manifest more effectively the best possible ways in your life. So yeah, all of that. How can we do that, Spirit? How can pile 2 balance their ego and their soul to live more aligned and harmoniously with their soul? Okay, we have the 2 of Swords. So I'm getting from that, don't be afraid to make decisions. I'll get more into that, but okay, the Ace of Pentacles. The 9 of Swords. Okay, and the 5 of Cups. So I'm getting, there's a lot about confronting your shadows. On the back of the deck, we have the 10 of Wands. There's a lot that you've been carrying just mentally, like there's just a lot that you've been carrying. And yeah, I just want to say again, I do recommend watching pile 1 if you want to, if you have the time, because that is a great example of, like, I feel like that is your next step. That is the energy that you will be stepping into once you face these shadows. Yeah, there's a lot of sadness here. Like, you could be feeling just in general pretty hopeless, pretty stuck in life, and just not sure how to find the way out. And I really do think what's interesting, she has a blindfold on, she's covering her face, he's covering his face, like he's, you know, got his head down. And right here, kind of in the middle of all this, is someone holding what feels like the answer, or what feels like, I mean, it's the Ace of Pentacles. So holding a new venture, a new beginning in abundance. And I feel like you've just been kind of walking through life holding these burdens that you have, that you're finally just ready to let go of. And I want you to know that you have the full capabilities to let go of these things. And I don't want to say that in like, oh, if you're still holding on to it, then it's your fault kind of thing. Because, like, no. I just mean, I just want to be encouraging. There's a lot of worries that I feel like the only way to face them, I mean, you might know what works for you, but I feel like there's just a need to really look at your worries head on, look at the things that are burdening you, and ask yourself where they come from, because I feel like you'll find that they're not coming from you, and they never really have been. Like, they are, but a lot of the burdens that you feel could be lifted by healing, well, one, if you're into like chakra healing specifically, healing the solar plexus, which is your sense of self, and healing the heart. Because this has a lot to do with your upbringing, and the way that you see things has a lot to do with that. And I want to get actually a clarifier for the Nine of Swords real quick. Can you clarify the Nine of Swords, Spirit? Okay, we have the Queen of Wands. And then we have Justice on the back, which is interesting because pile one also got that. Yeah, in the least annoying way possible that I could say this, you're afraid of your own power. You're afraid of stepping into your own power, which sounds cliche and stupid, probably, I know. I don't really think that it's just that you're afraid of. I think that you do have like just worries and fears, and this is also making me think about the whole like I'm afraid to do the wrong thing, I'm afraid to make the wrong decision kind of thing. And I feel like in that kind of ruminating phase, that is what keeps you, and it's not your fault, but and it's hard. It's not something that could be changed overnight. If therapy is something that you need, or even just like a book on like cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm just thinking of practical things, just because this is reminding me of like what it can be like to live life with like OCD, for example, which is just, you know, constantly worrying about making the right choice, when in reality there is no right choice, but feeling like there is a right choice, and then constantly feeling like you're making the wrong one and ruminating, is unfortunately what is causing you so much despair. And it is coming from a wound, like a validation wound, because you're not afraid of making the wrong choices for you. Your soul is actually very confident and in a creative flow, a creative feminine energy. And I feel like you just naturally operate from a more like, your soul operates from a more flow energy and, you know, more feminine energy. So if you want to as well, look into like feminine energy, which it doesn't have to be like a gendered thing. It's just like the type of energy that it is. So you, regardless of gender, feminine energy could be something that you want to look into, and how you can embrace that more in your life. Because I feel like, again, I mean, we just live in a society, you know, especially in America. It's like this in many places, but especially like, that's the only scope of society that I personally have experienced. But it can be very focused on masculine energy, and not everyone operates like that, and that's just how it is. And so looking for validation externally and trying to constantly, you know, make people proud and produce something that you feel like other people will approve of, it's not something that naturally works for you, and that's okay. And I think that essentially to help cure this is to just realize and admit to yourself, and just realize that your mode of being is not wrong, and there's not just one way to live. Like, there's not just one right way to live that is like the way. That doesn't exist. The only way that you should be living is the way that feels most comfortable to you. But in order to truly connect with that, we have to stop looking for validation in others, from others. which again, like, I know that can be difficult because it's like, naturally, like, your mind and your body are gonna want to react whenever you're speaking your truth, whenever you speak your truth to people who aren't ready to hear it and who you rely on the validation of, not getting their validation is going to hurt. But then you're gonna move past it and you're gonna find the power within you to realize that you never needed it. Because, like, it'll hurt your feelings, but other than that, it can't really do anything, you know? Other people's rejection is just like, okay. Like, obviously, feelings can be very intense, and I don't want to diminish that, but nobody can control your life. At least not by, like, simply rejecting your way of being. You know, like, nobody can control your life just by being like, I don't like the way you choose to live, or, you know, unless there's, like, actual, like, physical threats, which in that case, go to the police, or, yeah, whatever. But yeah, like, simply just being like, I don't approve of this, like, whatever, like, you know, and I feel like you're gonna realize that, the way to merge your soul and your ego and your soul is to go inwards, introspect, and look at the ways, in which you've been living your life and how you've been believing, what you've been believing, and truly just kind of ask yourself, like, does that feel good? Does the way that I live my life, do the things that I believe about the way life works, does that make me feel good? And if the answer is no, then you can be like, okay, well, why do I believe these things in the first place? You know, and really dig deep. And I feel like you're gonna come out on the other side. I feel like you're going to, again, realize that there is no right way to live. Whoa, I just got a really intense beeping in my ear. So, yeah, there is no right way to live. That is, like, if you take anything from this, please let it be that. There is no right way to live other than what makes you happy. That is the right way. I got the beeping in the other ear now. So yeah. Because, yeah, I just feel a good energy. I feel an empowered energy whenever you kind of make a decision, and just, it could be like something small that you take and you're like, I'm just gonna make a decision and I'm not gonna think about it. Decisions is part of our suffering. I've just been reading about Buddhism lately, and that's one of the things that technically causes suffering is choices. But once you realize there is no right choice, you're free. And yeah, I just validate your own worries, but don't hold on, don't cling to them. Validate that your worries have been valid, or it's kind of redundant, but you get it. Your worries have been valid, your feelings have been valid, they've never been invalid, but they've also been hindering you. I want to word this correctly. They are valid. Your emotions are valid. kind of take your emotions, give them a good hug and a kiss, and then let them go. You're like, okay, you can go now. I see you. I appreciate that you've been trying to keep me safe, but I'm going to, like, literally, if you need to talk to yourself, just be like, I am going to go my own way now. Like, you know, and the emotions are going to come up still. That's okay. Acceptance is very important here. And I also just feel like you're going to feel so empowered when you realize I can do anything that I want. I don't have to adhere to the rules that I've been adhering to. I don't have to carry this burden. It's really a decision to carry these rules with me. I want to read the Ace of Pentacles in this book, actually. God, where did I put it? Okay, I actually have no idea where it is. What the heck? Well, it's kind of annoying. Okay, I found it. Okay, so let's see, Ace of Pentacles. When you draw the Ace of Pentacles, it signifies an opportunity coming your way, sometimes in a way you least expect it. This card also represents a time for planting seeds for long-term growth. What do you want to move toward in your life? Now is the time to set those desires into motion. This ace is a favorable card for fresh starts. Upright means planting seeds, abundance, new beginnings, good things coming, and opportunities. So yeah, I feel like there's more to say. I want to find a right way to say it. Yeah, okay. I feel like once you face the burdens that you've been carrying, because our ego ultimately, however we're feeling at any given moment, whatever we're dealing with, we're being shown either where we're either being shown that we are aligned, and that's like when you feel in tune, you just feel aligned, you just feel overall a sense of peace regardless of what's going on in your life. Or it shows us that we need to change something, and that is where you'll feel a disruption within. You'll feel frustrated and feeling like you lack control, which it's not about gaining control, it's about letting go, and it's about calling in what feels good, calling in new feelings. And I want to be very careful with that, because I don't mean this in a toxic positive way where you should only want to feel positive things all the time. I just mean calling in realizing that there are other ways to exist, and you are never chained to a way of existing. You are never chained to any mental there are no mental chains. We hold ourselves in chains, there, any way that obviously it's there are things that are so ingrained into our brains that we do have to work on changing the neural pathways and how our brain literally works, but it's not impossible. And I know people say the older you get, it's like harder to do, but it's not impossible. So with that, I am going to get some cards from the Moonology Manifestation deck for guidance and advice from your spirit guides. But yeah, I hope that I said enough and that the message came through clearly, because yeah, your soul just, you'll be in more alignment with your soul once you see that, once you go inwards, and it'll be different for everyone, but once you see that your mind isn't trying to hurt you, it's just, you know, once you see that you don't have to hold on to things forever, you know, that you can feel your emotions, that doesn't have to be how you feel forever. Normally, your emotions are just calling to be felt, to be acknowledged, and then let go. Yeah. But yeah, feeling your feelings and diving deep into shadow work. I would look up shadow work for like just wounds in general. And yeah, feminine energy, masculine energy, shadow work could be helpful. So, Spirit, what advice do you want to give Pile 2? Okay, we have push through any insecurity, first quarter moon in Cancer. And trust the universe, first quarter moon in Aquarius. And yeah, unleash your kindest self on the back. Which, like, yeah, I just feel like there does need to be more trust in the universe, which I'm pretty sure this is either crown chakra or third eye chakra. Is that on all the cards? It's not. There's different chakras. But this one is the same one. I'm pretty sure that's third eye, which again reminds me of Pile 1. You have so much good coming for you. You just need to go inwards and introspect, and yeah, like, this is good. It really is. There is a way out to what you're feeling, I promise you. But I'm just gonna read these. Okay. Drawing this card suggests you may be allowing self-doubt to derail you. Chances are that you started off strong, fast out the gate and full of bravado, but now you're allowing fears and doubts to cloud your vision. Family issues coming up now need dealing with. Maybe you think you're not good enough, or you're waiting for something to go wrong. This isn't the way to get what you want in life. Instead, be kind to yourself and others, work on your insecurities, and head towards your goals. Nice. Down here it says, nurture yourself and believe that you're worthy of your goals. So definitely lots about nurturing yourself. That. And then first quarter moon in Aquarius. It's time to release your grip on a situation. Passion is good, but too much can become manic. Sometimes we feel too much intensity around our dreams because we're scared they won't come true, but that's counterproductive. Live and let live a little. State your intention to the universe, then detach. Trust the universe and see what happens. The tighter your grip now, the more likely you are to lose out. This is doubly yeah, I guess. This is doubly true if you've been jealous or had issues to do with sex or money. Avoid trying too hard to influence someone else. And then I'm just gonna hold that up. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave leave this here. I hope you enjoyed this reading and that it offered valuable insight. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like or a comment or even subscribing if you want to stick around for more. If you do subscribe, I also just like want to see what the people want to see, so comment any suggestions if you have any for readings that you'd like to see on this channel. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, or afternoon. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the Phantom Wise Tarot with this red star sun question mark charm, welcome to your reading. I think I explained it in the very beginning, but basically this side's going to be your ego, and all that means is it's basically your energy that you're conscious of, your present, your ego, what your ego is telling you and making you believe about the world and how you're living day to day, kind of your conscious thoughts and beliefs. And this is going to be your soul, which is basically just, your intuition, your true essence, if you will. So yeah, the more aligned you are with your soul, the more it'll kind of resonate and make sense, but it should hopefully resonate regardless. But we're gonna start with your ego, and we have number 30 with Lily. We have the bear, Autumn with bounty and balance, and discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. For your soul, we have number 21, the mountain, the turtle, we have rosemary with remembrance, loyalty, and faithfulness, and service. I feel good when I can help others. Okay, I'm gonna get a sip of water before I start. Okay, so I want to start with your soul because I feel like, I don't know if whoever's watching this also happened to watch one of my other readings and also just chooses pile 3 every time they watch a reading, but there was an energy of one of my readings in pile 3 where it was like, I feel like this group is very good on the earthly plane and dealing with physical things, and that's kind of what this energy also gives. Your soul is very rooted to earth. I feel like maybe your soul specifically has a very special relationship with earth, and you could feel very connected to earth, and maybe you've incarnated on earth very often, very frequently. It's a place that you frequent in your incarnations, if you do believe in reincarnation. There's just earth has a very special place in your heart and in your soul, and whether or not you feel this way, your soul really likes to incarnate here, or just in general really likes being here, likes what earth can offer, and really, yeah, just really enjoys because obviously I don't know about currently I'm unaware of how other planets or dimensions operate, but I know that your soul likes that Earth has, like, what Earth has to offer, the tangible ways in which you can use energy and use your five senses, your soul really appreciates. And so I feel like you have a very rooted energy, and I'm getting from your ego currently that you actually are pretty balanced. I think that you have determination and your heart set on something right now. And again, you're very good at being this, you're very good at being disciplined, and there's a spiritual energy to you, but it doesn't feel like, I feel like when a lot of people think of spiritual energy, they think of kind of like spacey, you know, crown chakra sort of energy. And there obviously is an element of crown chakra energy when it comes to spirituality. You have a very like earthly spiritual energy to you. Like, it just makes me think of like Mother Earth. I feel like you're very connected to Mother Earth. So that could also just be something like praying to like Gaia, like could be something significant for you. Working with the earth could be significant for you. Maybe, maybe you work with your hands and maybe you garden a lot. Maybe there's something literal there, but either way, your ego currently is in an energy of starting anew, coming out of a slumber. That's, you know, basically what this card talks about, sort of coming out of hibernation. And there is again, there's like an earthly spiritual energy to it. Like, I feel like, oh, that was, I don't know if you heard my cat meow, but yeah, you're coming out of something. It kind of feels like you're, maybe for a while you were really focused on one thing. Maybe for a while you were really focused on survival and work, and either that, or it could be the complete opposite, where you were actually taking a sabbatical or a break. But either way, you're kind of returning to your sense of self. You're coming back, and there's a focus on yeah, like kind of waking up from a slumber. So either you're getting kind of back into things, getting a feel for life again and feeling like renewed in it. Or well, I feel like that's going to be true for everyone, but you could also be like, if you were, for example, in the group that was like working a lot and kind of focused on your survival needs, you're coming back to yourself. You're coming back to a more grounded place. Because even though survival and all of that has to do with your root chakra technically, and being very physical and in the practical world, it doesn't necessarily, because you can like be in that energy and kind of be so focused on it that it's like, I don't know, you're coming back to a place of groundedness that feels more calm, that you're coming back to an equilibrium, a calm place. And so that's where I feel like you're at right now. Your ego is focused on balancing work, on balancing your life, on balancing your energy. This does feel very balanced, very calm, very grounded. And I feel like your soul has been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, because, yeah, I'm just getting the feeling for this group that your soul loves Earth, and it's so funny because sometimes, you know, there are many qualms, I guess, to living on Earth and having an earthly body and having an earthly life, because the world can be scary and ugly. And sometimes we can't always see it the way our soul sees it, but like your soul loves Earth. I just, there's a real soft spot for Earth in your soul. So I feel like, especially with this card coming out, I feel like it has a lot to do with obviously liking Earth as a whole. I think that your soul thinks that Earth is a very beautiful planet, but also spreading love. That is something that your soul is very passionate about. You know, creating community, family, loyalty. Yeah, with this card, I feel like there's a faithfulness that your soul has to Earth and humanity as a whole. And so what's interesting, I feel like you're very balanced right now. Like your ego seems very balanced. It's not that it's not aligned with your soul, because I feel like it is. I just almost feel like your soul is like planning more for you. Like you could just be kind of like getting back in the groove, getting back in tune with yourself, and you're just kind of chilling. You're like, okay, like I'm getting back into things, I'm living my life. And I feel like your soul is kind of like, okay, like we're ready for bigger things now. Like we're ready. Your soul wants to make moves towards new things and new adventures. And I don't know, even if you're like, I feel like you're grounded and you're aligned, but I feel like you're not focused on your soul's plans, which seems kind of like funny, because it's like your soul is you and is like within you. But I almost feel like this is like a subconscious thing. Like there's things going on energetically. And this is also in conjunction with like the universe and the universe's sort of plan, if you will. And I feel like whatever you were going through before this, like before the period of your life that you're in right now, where you're kind of coming out of this slumber, whether it was taking a rest or just focusing on your immediate survival needs, there was like obstacles that you were overcoming on an energetic level. There was obstacles that you were maybe physically even overcoming that were preparing you and preparing your energy to be ready to take on a really big project. I feel like your soul is kind of ready for a really big new project. That's what it feels like. And I feel like you're not yet aware of it, but I feel like it's coming. It's like, again, yeah, you're kind of just getting into the groove of things. I want to get into the tarot, to get more info on this. But that's that. Let me make sure. Wait, is it recording? Oh my god. Okay, sorry. It is. I just couldn't see the time and I was freaking out a little, so I thought my phone was glitched out. I got scared. But yeah, we're good. We're good. Oh god. Okay. Okay. I'm not used to shuffling with nails. I actually can't wait to take these off. I love the look of them, which is why I'm wearing them. I want to try and wear fake nails for videos because they just look cute. They look sophisticated, but I really can't wait to take them off. And I also want to wear like themed nails. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's too early to wear Halloween nails. Like, it's not even fall yet, but once the time comes and once it feels right, I will be wearing my Halloween nails, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. Oops. I just don't want to get too excited for fall yet, because I feel like the sooner you get excited, the sooner it leaves, and I wanna take it slow. But I'm very excited for fall. I love fall. I love winter. Even though in Texas we don't really have fall. We just have like a less hot summer. Sorry for this atrocious shuffling. God. Anyways, so I want to get, how can you combine the efforts of your ego and your soul together to create a more balanced, harmonious approach to life? And also so you can be aware of, like, I mean, you're going to be aware of it regardless. I just feel like your soul is planning something that it wants to take you on an adventure specifically. I feel like you're just meant to serve and connect with people. We're all meant to like serve in a way, and it doesn't have to be like your traditional like service jobs, but your soul wants to go on an adventure and connect with people, and that's coming. And I feel like you're already connected with your soul, but I want to, kind of see like how you can stay in tune with it so you can listen to it and take that inspired action when the time comes. So how can pile of 3 stay connected to their soul? Page of Cups. The 8 of Pentacles. The 9 of Wands. And the 5 of Cups. And on the back of the deck, oh, we have the Sun. Okay. So let me see. So, right off the bat with the Page of Cups, I feel like one way that you can balance your ego and your soul is taking a almost childlike approach to your emotions. And I feel like this is one way you could connect more to your soul, is because I feel like you're pretty well-rounded and balanced, and I think your soul just wants to take you on more adventures in life. And one way to be open to that is be open to taking breaks, relaxing, which you could have already been doing that, but be open, I guess, to, I want to say more emotions, but specifically looking at the world, because I feel like you're a very responsible person, which is awesome. And like, honestly, I love that for you. I wish I could be responsible, but you have a very disciplined, responsible energy, and you get shit done. And see, the thing is like with this 8 of Pentacles, you're not being called to like to just throw that to the wayside and not be, because I feel like that is something that you're good at, because your soul just naturally feels called to that sort of thing. But I think that there is, I wouldn't even say inner child healing, because I mean, maybe I'm not necessarily, well, maybe with this Five of Cups, I'm not necessarily getting like your inner child feels neglected, because I feel like your inner child is actually very proud of you, and you've always since childhood had this sort of responsible, disciplined outlook on life, and just had an urge and a desire to get things done. But I feel like the universe is sort of calling you to embrace more spontaneity and fun and a childlike energy, because I think that your soul wants to open you up to new experiences, because ultimately life is all about experiencing, and I feel like you've lived many lives. I mean, this card talks about being like an ancient soul. I feel like you've lived many, many lives where you've gotten things done and you've taken care of things, and you've probably been very good about that in this life. And I feel like you've grown a lot of stability for yourself, and your soul at this point is very proud of you, and honestly is just saying like, hey, let's go on an adventure, you know, like, we deserve it. And the efforts that you've put in towards your life have just been like so good, and they've gotten you where you need to be, and you should feel very proud of yourself. I feel like you're also being called to kind of take on a craft that you enjoy. I feel like you're being called to put more energy into things that you enjoy, just for the sake of enjoying them. You know, there doesn't have to be a means to an end. There doesn't have to be an output. You know, you can just simply enjoy doing something. Because I feel like, you know, I'm the inner child message is coming back. I feel like that would make your inner child very happy, because I really do think that may be the new adventure, sort of, that your soul is like cooking, and like cooking up for you. Your soul is preparing, because this message feels interestingly like different than the other two, because that was more, it felt like I was giving advice on how to, you know, be more in balance with your ego and your soul. This feels like I'm giving you like a hint on where your soul wants to take you next in life. Because again, I feel like your soul is just very, you couldn't be disconnected from your soul if you tried, because it's so rooted into earth and earth energy that it's just more easily accessible to you. And this is funny, this is kind of news to me, because I don't know how souls work, and it's interesting to get this sort of feeling and get these messages, because I'm like, it's very interesting. But yeah, basically, I feel like if there's anything that needs to be said, is that like even though you work really hard, your soul is kind of calling for like your soul is not disappointed. Again, your soul is not disappointed in what you've already cultivated and what you like, all the work you've already put in. It's not like, hey, you need to stop being that way and lighten up. It's not like that. It's more so like we've done this, we've done a great job, but it's time to embrace new sides of ourselves. That's what I'm getting. It's time to embrace, and with this, again, beginning anew, like, it's time to embrace your, like, your energy being like new again is already in alignment with your soul and your soul's plans. You're just not fully aware of what your soul's plans are. But what your soul wants for you is to embrace a new beginning and embrace a new way of life, not because you have to, but just because it would be fun. It would, give you like this sort of this sun fulfilling energy. It's not something where it's like you have to change this because you have wounds. It's just like your soul wants you to experience more and wants you to embrace a new, unfamiliar way of living. And it may be a little bit uncomfortable, but I want to read this 5 of Cups from the thing actually, because I'm interested to see what it says in here. It says, a figure sits collapsed on the floor, mourning what's been broken, dwelling on the past, not seeing the whole picture, wallowing in regret, reliving past trauma, reluctant to move on, being focused on what is lost while what remains is left neglected, a need to move forward. So yeah, I do feel like there may be that sort of like, it may be a little bit difficult to embrace new beginnings because you may just be someone who feels more comfortable in what is familiar to you. And I want to get a clarifier for that actually. I felt like doing it earlier, but I'm gonna get another one. I want to leave the sun on the back though. So, Spirit, can you clarify the 5 of Cups, please? Okay, the 9 of Swords, interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting just because I don't really think they're related, but the 9 of Swords and 5 of Cups came out in pile 2. I want to get one more clarifier. I need a little bit more. Okay. The King of Pentacles. Yeah. On the back of the deck, we have Judgment, so interesting. I think this new adventure, which this Bear card does talk about in beginning anew, there may be some obstacles at first to get through, and I feel like you just have so much stability that it may feel uncomfortable to embrace new beginnings. This card talks about obstacles as well, so I feel like this is an obstacle that your soul wants to get over. Again, it doesn't feel like it's like, so it's kind of rooted in a wound, but it doesn't feel like it's a wound that originates in this reality or in this lifetime. It could be, but I feel like in general, your soul is just naturally inclined to the familiar. And, our soul, like, like there is like a kind of blueprint, but our soul does change. Our soul does kind of have a personality of its own. It's like intermingled with ours. And I feel like your soul is kind of just like, even though your soul is you, it's kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it. Your soul is kind of like deciding, it's like its own entity almost. It's deciding like, you know what, like I've done the familiar thing for so long and it's fun, but I'm ready to get over this obstacle of maybe being afraid to take a chance on something new and to have new adventures, go on new, expeditions is what I heard. Have new ventures. Yeah. Because there's just some worry there. But I think that like, with this disappointment, it's something that your soul truly craves. And I want to read the Nine of Wands as well, actually. Because sometimes I forget what that one means. I'm not gonna lie. Are they playing music next door? Okay. Well, I can't stop now. So if you hear music, just jam out, I guess. The Nine of Wands. A figure stands in a field filled with wands, exhausted but not quite able to rest, ready to move on, wounded but still standing, resilient and prepared for what comes next. A time to stand fast through long trials, to continue pressing forward, almost there. So yeah, this is about resilience. So yeah, I just feel like you have a determined spirit, and that's so distracting. I was kind of getting to the end of the reading anyways, because I feel like this is pretty much all I have to say. Your soul is calling for new adventures, and there may be some obstacles that come up in embracing that new energy, but I feel like ultimately, like I said, like, you couldn't be disconnected from your soul if you tried. Like, you could be, but your soul is always there. Your soul is always your soul is always a big part of you. Like, especially for your energy, I feel like your soul is just constantly like y'all are like this. I think I said that about pile 1 as well, but like, you have a very special connection to Earth. God. Anyways, I think that the music is a sign for me to end there. I am gonna get you some cards from the Moonology Manifestation Oracle deck. Oh, they paused it. Thank God. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to say? Yeah. But if there's any obstacles that come up, a way to combine the energies between your ego and your soul is just to embrace more fun, give into it. When you feel like these wounds coming up, which there may be other ways to also kind of dig into that and deal with it, but when you feel these thoughts coming up whenever you're called to have more fun, these thoughts are like, oh, like, well, I shouldn't venture out from what I normally do. Just be mindful, and be mindful to embrace new beginnings, and be mindful to the new emotions that are going to come up for you, because you may feel things that you just either haven't really felt before or haven't felt in a while, and they're going to be positive feelings, and it's almost going to be like, wow, like, I forgot that life could feel like this. And yeah, and don't be afraid of that, because I feel like embracing that is ultimately what's going to keep you and your soul connected. And it's also going to make it easier to hear what your soul is telling you, and to ultimately continue to follow the path that your soul wants to take you down. But yeah, like, you and your soul are like this. Y'all are constantly communicating and connected. So I want to get you some... Hold on. Some messages of advice from the Moonology Manifestation Oracle. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see, we're still recording. Cool. Okay, so Spirit guides for pile 3. What guidance Okay, that one came out, so I'm gonna take it. Believe in your good luck, first moon in Sagittarius. What guidance do you have for pile 3? And leave the past behind. There you go. We do have a lighten up here, but I don't, I think that's a little harsh. But anyways, I want to read from the book. Where did I put the book? Oh, it's right here. But yeah, leave the past behind. It's time for you to start fresh. I feel like ultimately, like, you've been in a good energy. You've been very grounded. You're good at just handling life, I feel like. And I feel like you're ready. Yeah, you've been, again, like, very disciplined, you handle life well, and your soul helps you, and you're just ready. You're ready for new beginnings. First quarter moon in Sagittarius. Okay. Whatever is going on in your life, you need to take care of the small stuff, and the big stuff will fall into place. Problems can arise now because of carelessness or a judgment lapse. Avoid telling everyone your opinion until you're sure you know exactly what's going on. Think about the baby steps you need to take on your way to your goal, and don't take too many risks. Believe in your own good luck, but don't be arrogant about it. Think an important decision through very carefully before taking action. Honestly, I know this says don't take too many risks. I would have to disagree with that. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like you're already taking care of the small stuff, but this is just an extra message to be mindful. But yeah, take what resonates. I'm just gonna hold that up. And I'm gonna read the other one. Leave the past behind. Something is standing between what you want and how you can get it. That's okay. Now you know it's there, you can do something about it. You just need to be strategic. It's wonderful to go for things with a childlike, carefree attitude, but drawing this card suggests you need a proper plan as well. That's interesting. Because I said to embrace a childlike, carefree attitude. I feel like you're somebody with a plan already. Like, you're the type to want a plan. Again, if this specifically resonates, then take that. But I honestly think that there is going to be a balance of taking like a childlike, carefree attitude and not doing, especially because this card is about balance. It's not about extremes. It's not about going all the way childlike, carefree, or all the way planning and not leaving any room for carefreeness. So anyways, leave the past behind. You may need to move through and clear criticism someone has made of you, which has somehow burned itself into your brain. You have work to do. So yeah, I'm just gonna hold that up. So take with that which you will. I think, you know, ultimately persevere and focus on things that mean something to you for the fun of it, not just because it's going to, I mean, if there's something though that you're really like, you feel serious about, then, and you want to like lock in, I would say this is a sign to go for it. But ultimately, do things because they make you happy and not for other people. And it's okay to love past versions of yourself and still kind of leave them behind. Or kind of just not abandoning past versions of yourself by leaving them behind and by letting them go. You're setting them free, and setting yourself free. So with that, that is your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider leaving a like or a comment or even subscribing if you want to stick around. If you do want to stick around, I do request or ask that if you have any ideas for readings that you want to see, please do comment them. But yeah, if not, that's cool too. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, or afternoon. So yeah, bye.